First thing that most people think of when we talk about Pride is the Stonewall riots. Drag queens, gays, and lesbians taken to the streets of New York City in the summer of 1969, demanding their right to exist after finally tiring of endless raids on their spaces and threats to their existence. Locally, our Pride celebration started as a quiet invite-only gathering in somebody's private living room in 1984, the year that the AIDS crisis slammed in the forefront of American media. This small gathering of friends comforting each other in the wake of overwhelming fear, loss, and discrimination grew and organized into what we know today as the Gala Pride and Diversity Center. And when they went to organize SLO's first Pride celebration in 1997, they found a somewhat unlikely ally in the local Mission, which hosts our annual event to this day. We've come a long way in the decades since. We won the right to marry in California and then lost it again and then won it again and then almost lost it again before the Supreme Court made marriage equality the law of the land in 2015. Yes. We fought tooth and nail for the scant protections that are finally in place and built a global sense of community. We knew we weren't alone anymore, and Pride remains an annual reminder for so many that they are not alone. It has become a crucial way that we uplift voices that are so often silenced, a reminder of where we were. It offers a time to reflect on where we are and see the uphill battle that is still ahead of us. As anti-transgender attacks rise in this country with efforts in every state, including here in California and here in San Luis Obispo County, to strip away the protections that protect us and our children, LGBTQ+ families are fleeing their homes in the United States in search of a better life in other states. And with deadly anti-transgender violence at an all-time high in 20 years, LGBTQ+ people, especially our children, are at extraordinary risk throughout our nation and here in San Luis Obispo County. We tend to think of these attacks as something that don't happen in our community, but San Luis Obispo County has one of the highest suicidality rates for transgender teenagers than anywhere else in the state of California. When we first started measuring this in 2013, 26% of our transgender students said that they seriously considered suicide in the past 12 months. By 2019, 6 years later, that number had more than doubled. We are now at 60.5% of our transgender teenagers in our county seriously considering suicide. And this is compared to the constant but still unacceptable 17% rate of cisgender students who also struggle with suicidality. In my last 3 years at Gala, we have gone toe-to-toe with elected officials for hateful comments that always end up reflected in administrative decisions and legal proposals. We've been forced to confront school board after school board in our local area, watching hate groups literally bus in people from other counties to give weight to their hateful rhetoric. Our children are struggling under extreme discrimination in so many of our schools. They see what's going on in the news. They know that politicians are talking about them when they say, and I quote, that transgender people must be eradicated from public life at all levels. They know who is being targeted when our school boards vote to strip away their protections. This is why we are so grateful to the SLO County Board of Supervisors and the San Luis Obispo, Morro Bay, and Arroyo Grande City Councils for proclaiming June 2023 as Pride Month. We know that this was a genuine fight against bigotry in many of these meetings, and we applaud the integrity of those who fought to make that happen. Please do. Yes. Pride is a vital celebration this year and every year. In a world where LGBTQ people are constantly targeted in the news, legal sphere, and often even just walking down the street, this leaves so many of us feeling isolated and rejected by our own communities and families. And Pride gives queer people and their allies a chance to see that they are not alone. We find our community. We see that there are people in our community that care for us and others who share our stories. It allows our children who are constantly being told by the world around them that they are not worthy of love to see successful adults that they could become, that give them hope for the future and tell them that they are loved unconditionally. I love you. Happy Pride.